ask what our boss getting out the deal, we show up for work. Do you think he making the same thing you making? So when you ask why they're shunning and trying to cancel Ice Cube because he's talking to Trump, I agree with what Charlamagne the guy said right there. Do you think we're not supposed to work with the people that's in power to get something accomplished? So when we isolate to the fact that we never work with those who's in power to get something accomplished, and the Republicans be in power for 8 years, then what are you supposed to get? Nothing.
Right.
Because that's what you tell yourself. But then again, who's the one telling us to be mad? What if and if I stop my long-winded conversation here and say this, that the same guy, the same homeboy I was talking about that said he felt Ice Cube was getting something out the deal. I asked him, have you read the Platinum Plan?
Right.
He said no. So I said, how do you know anything about the deal or anybody get something out of it? So now we get real mad about stuff that we scared to verify. Because the one thing I learned about when you start researching and learning things, you become responsible for what you learn. But if you never research or learn anything, you call and say, man, I don't know none of that, man, I ain't know.
Right. And one of the things that, because I haven't read the Platinum Plan, that's why I wanted to talk to you today, because I know you more politically inclined with knowing what's going on in the world, politics, politicians and all that. So I wanted to ask you more about that Platinum Plan and, you know, of course, what's happening with this cancel culture with Ice Cube. And I got the video too, so I'm going to play a little bit of the video so my listeners and viewers, y'all can know what we talking about, know what's been going on, you know, hopefully we can get a better understanding. My opinion, personally, you know, we talked about this before, that I don't particularly like rich people speaking for me. You know, I feel like they not really in touch with what's really going on in the hood no more, what's going on in the type of areas that we living in, because they've been living on their high horse for so long. And even though he did come out with a Platinum Plan, you know, I personally think that I want somebody that's down here in the dirt with me, that actually already, I spoke on on one of my other podcasts about politicians and people wanting us to vote for them and don't already have work done for us to see. Like, we see all these signs in the yards, we see all this, like, it's crazy because I was just walking by a lot the other day, and the lot, grass grown up sky high, broken down, abandoned houses in back of it, but then you got a sign saying vote for me in front of it. And I'm like, so why would I vote for somebody that haven't already put in the work to get that grass cut, to get that building, you know, taken care of where we don't have to see it anymore? So basically what I'm saying is that, like, I have a problem with voting for people that haven't already showed that they're going to do what they making all these promises for. That's just me personally. But back to Q is that, you know, I guess my biggest problem with the whole thing is that, like, I would prefer a spokesperson that is more in touch with what's really going on. Which, that's just my personal opinion. I haven't read the Platinum Plan, so that's why, you know, you here. You can, you know, give me some more enlight. It's not like that I'm dead hoes just don't like what's going on, because I don't believe that cancel culture stuff. I'm not on that side of the road. But I do want to play the video because I think Cube handled himself pretty good, and, you know, I thought that he was saying some good stuff. And me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with him going to talk to Trump people, because whoever can get the job done, you know, that's the person you should be able to talk to. I heard that he went to Biden. They said they'll talk to you after the election, which you hear people saying they're going to do all this stuff, and then after the election they get elected and nothing get done. He went to Trump people, and he changed some of the stuff in his plan according to what Cube had in his. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video real quick so you all can get a little insight of what's going on.
The opportunity, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Chris, your lead-ins are a little misleading.
How so?
Well, the Platinum Plan is not my plan. I came up with the contract with Black America, and I didn't run to go work with any campaign. Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the contract with Black America. One campaign said, "We love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election." And one campaign said, "We love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it?" And that's what I did. So I didn't run to nobody. And so that was real misleading to me.
Well, I didn't say you ran to anybody. I said that you had taken a pivot.
Well, you said I ran over to the Trump team instead of the Biden team. That's just not true.
Well, but you are working with the Trump team instead of the Biden team, and people are giving you heat for it. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm willing to work with both teams, but I'm just working with whoever is willing to work with me. So the Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems, especially the wealth gap in this country when it comes to Black Americans. So I'm going to whoever's in power, and I'm going to speak to them about our problems specifically. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans, the ones who are the descendants of slaves. And that's what I'm going to talk to anybody who's in power with that. So if anybody got a problem with that, it seems like a personal problem.
Well, here's the problem, and it is very personal, as you know, for a lot of people of color, because they'll say, well, why would you pick Trump when he says there's no such thing as systemic inequality?
I'm not picking nobody. He's the president.
But why do you think he'd want to do something for the community when he says there's no such thing as systemic inequality?
I don't know what he want to do. I just know what the man said. I know what he said to the country. I've never met Donald Trump. So I don't know what he's going to do. I just know what he said he was going to do. So both of them have a plan. Both of them say they're going to do something. And who knows what's really going to happen after November 3rd. Nobody knows from each side. We're all hoping that candidates keep their campaign promises. So that's just it.
So let's look at it this way. I think that you're right to be skeptical. Let's start with the Democrats, because even though there is a traditional connection between Black voters and the Democrats, you could also say you've been let down or forgotten by Democrats in a lot of situations that would have mattered. Then you say, all right, so then what makes one side better than the other? That's where you get in trouble, which is, do you really think that Donald Trump can be trusted as much as you could trust Joe Biden?
I don't think I'm not trusting any of them. I'm just going by action. That's all I'm going by. I'm not going by words. I'm not going by rhetoric, not going by media spin, not going by none of that. You know, I'm not on nobody's team. I'm not on Team Blue, not on Team Red.
So then I have that wrong.
I'm an independent person, and I believe that's what Black people need to do, is become independent, and we need to get something for our vote. You know, that may not happen, but it's going to happen.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Look, if I had brought you here to fight with you, you would have known it. What I'm saying is, I think I did get it wrong, and I want to make sure I get it right. So saying you're working with the Trump team is wrong. What you did was, when they asked to talk to you about it, you said yes. If Biden had asked to talk to you about it now, you would have gone to them the same way. It's not about you choosing anything. It's you working with everybody who's got a chance of doing anything.
I'm working with whoever's in power. Yeah, I'll work with both. Whoever's in power, I'm going to work with. So whoever wins, they'll hear from me.
Okay, so I'm glad you came to clear it up. So Ice Cube is not with the Trump campaign. He's just given his ideas, and anybody who wants to do something with them, fine. Do you believe they are doing anything with your ideas?
I believe, they looked at the contract with Black America and they updated their plan, but it's their plan. I have my plan. My plan is broad. It goes beyond the public sector. It goes into the private sector, banks, even the movie industry. So we got to deal with a lot of different, I think, companies, corporations, and even government when it comes to solving this problem. I believe it's a non bipartisan problem. Uh, I believe it's a bipartisan problem when it comes to the issues when it comes to blacks in America and what's going on. It's not a Democrat problem. It's not for them to solve. It's not for the Republicans to solve. It's for both of them to solve. They do it when it comes to debt ceiling. They do it when it comes to getting us in wars. They seem to come.
Nah, we heard the sound bite. We heard what was going on. So, me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with the interview. I mean, I feel like he said that he didn't even go to either campaign. They both contacted him. I don't see nothing wrong with the interview.
Well, I don't know if he said how the contact was made. He gave both campaigns the opportunity to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in politics here for about ever since I was probably 19 years old. Been in politics a long time, maybe before that. So in saying that to you, I only bring up to say this: when a politician tell you, "I'm gonna check with you after the election," people out there who deal with politics, you know what that means? Pretty much nothing.
Mm.
So when you get blown off by a campaign, say, "I'm gonna check with you after the election," another campaign says, "I'm gonna work with you now,"
Right.
and they send you the same guy, who's Jared Kushner, who's the same one that goes over to Israel and mapped out the thing between Israel and the UAB, between Israel and the Sudan,
Right.
between Israel and the Pakistanis right now.
Right.
So in bringing up that detail, he's the supreme negotiator for them to be able to get out some kind of deals. So if we got a deal we need done, you want to go talk to the person who makes the deal for the deal maker.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the deal maker at the table, and now not only do he listen, he adjusts his thing. Do you like the name of it? No, because again, Ice Cube plan goes back even before all this ruckus came.
Right.
His plan's called Plan for Black America.
Yeah.
His plan is undertoned by Dr. Claude Adams. They keep us in competitive mode, so we ain't trying to get in a comprehensive and more of a unity mode. They keep us in competitive mode.
Right.
So the people pointing at us saying that we don't need to talk to Donald Trump, and I like the Chris Cuomo interview you played. He said some people like you turn on the black community.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to the people that feel that he turned on the black community, how do they feel that?
Right.
So then they say he working with Trump. Okay, working with Trump turned on the black community, and how does you justify that? So when you keep having to unpeel that onion, you find it's like a real onion. That's one of the only fruits or vegetables you peel, there's no seed in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So then they find it was a fruitless opinion that they had about something and whatnot. So when you ask me a question about the two things that he did in his plan that actually can help directly to the black community, I'm going to touch stuff that I be seeing every day. Let's try the clemency project that he's adopted to them. So not only do he just let the people out here and there that he grant clemency for wrongful prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to 1994 crime bill when Joe Biden bragged about putting thousands of black Americans in jail that he deemed that was born out of wedlock, and it was deemed not to be social, that were deemed to be social misfits,
Right.
and there was no cure for them. So he need to lock them away from the federal penitentiary for 85% of their sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So, in retrospect to that, people like that just went away. Even though Obama was there for 8 years, they can just go away. He may have freed 400 people that he freed, but we locked up thousands, and then the thousands you locked up destroyed families. Like I got a homeboy. He one of the ones that got a kingpin charge put on him, and he was gone for 17 years.
Yeah.
Before he left, he had a 3, 4, and a 12-year-old. When you come back, you got 2 little ones. You leave for 17 years. What bond do you think you'll have with them?
Right.
So do you think that's just a short-term problem that happened there, or do you think that's a 17-year problem that happened right there, 2 decades? So, okay, 2 decades. One of the plans in that platinum plan is that they're going to not only just do it just because he's in there, but they're going to set up a plan that goes after direct. Is instead of having these freedom funds, is a fund set up by the government to go hunt down things the government has done.
Right.
To let some of these people go, because you can't give them enough money for the time you took But at least you can kind of right the wrong that these people voting for now to making Joe Biden anything when we trying to right his wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing in the platinum plan. So that's the clemency, clemency for wrongful prosecution. Another part is the school of choice. I'm a big school of choice fan, and my school board members probably gonna hate me for that. But by me being a businessman and knowing I think business can help schools faster than people that has no experience with organization can.
Right.
I'm not always saying business is always the answer, but right now, if you have no organization at all, it's the answer here.
Well, let me ask you a question about that because I haven't looked much into the school choice, but I do know a little bit about it. Since you brought that up, school choice. Well, you say that your people probably ain't gonna like you saying too much about that, but ain't that a good thing? Like you being able to pick what school your children go to, that they don't have to stay in the same zip code or that same area that the school is in. Ain't that a good thing? Like, what is the backlash?
Well, first of all, shame on you. Do you think politics are ran for good for you? Shame on you for that. Keep trying to. I'm saying one day it's not like that, bro. It's not like that. And I'm laughing. I'm not playing.
So what's the opposing in then?
The posing in jobs.
So they
jobs, because just like right now, District 189 controls over $100 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
O'Fallon, Illinois school system control less than probably $60 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one you want to send your kid to right now? East St. Louis control over $100 million. O'Fallon controls less than $60 million.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would Thomas like to send his kids to right now? If it was your choice.
Me personally, I'd do O'Fallon because it's a better area.
Correct. So now, if you have school of choice, how school funded?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how schools are funded are through property tax and other government subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you take this child and detach the money from his location and attach it to him wherever he go, now that school, now it has to compete for your kids now. So now they got to bring in real people like myself and say, how can you make my school more competitive against O'Fallon now? Because we can't eat. So now, if you take all the kids out here and bus up there, well, what you do about these 40 teachers that work here and 40 teachers that work there? So it's about it all backs down to jobs again.
Money thing. Huh?
So now when you hear Trump saying that I don't want to bail out badly ran Democrat states, when you got politicians that come in your face and say, "Ooh, I'm glad I just got hired at the school system because I got some retirement." I like to start stuff with the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
My outcome is to be the best version of myself and successful as possible. I wake up every day, so I don't start my day until I thought about my whole day. So I start my day after I finish my day in my head, right? So that's my outcome. If your outcome is only to get a job for the school system and get some retirement, and you're a politician, when you ever plan on helping the kids or helping anybody? So you got your outcome, so you don't do no more work at that point in time. So again, like I just told you a second ago, shame on you. Because until the citizens realize, when we go back to the conversation we started this with, you can research any of these people. Right now, Judy Cates' name is up there on the billboard right there. You can research Judy Cates and see how favorable has she been in the court system. How many black faces came in her face, and how heavy-handed has she been on these people? Has she only been prosecuting for petty with things and whatnot? Because what people don't even realize, when they talk about Trump, the justice system in Illinois is controlled by the people if they want to control it. We vote for judges up there. So if you vote for judges up there and half of us don't know the judge's name, what are we doing? It's like the time I went to court 3 years ago. Blacks, or what do you want to call us, makes up 17% of St. Clair County, right?
Right.
17% of St. Clair County blacks. Once you go outside East St. Louis, go to other cities, it's only 17% of us in this whole county. We're just concentrated around here. But if you go to the courthouse, 80% of us in court. How the hell does the eyes work? If this county 87% everything else, why the hell is 80% of black people in court? Why are we representing only 25% of black people in court? Only 17% of us here, so we should be represented by 25 freaking percent. Or you saying that we more heathens than everybody else? And blacks spend more time in the court system on fines, speed tickets, and child support, and none of them ever could tell you a judge they ever voted for.
Right.
So when you talk about the Ice Cube Platinum Plan and the Trump Platinum Plan, and we go back to school of choice, you said And it a good thing? Yes, it's a good thing for parents.
Mm-hmm.
Bad thing for community.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of these communities are all built on these school systems. And they built on the school system on holding the monopoly where you cannot leave outside unless you got that address.
Okay.
And now if you get people to stay within this hood, because they're not neighborhoods, because I tell people it's not neighborhoods, it's a hood. It's a bunch of people want to get out of here, so they're not neighbors. So if you get this stand here, and I tell people, in America, it costs to be poor. Because if you want to buy some sweet and sour sauce in East St. Louis, that's a nickel a pack. But you go up there to Swansea, you get them $1, they give you sweet sour sauce, this big packs.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's that simple, it costs to be poor. So now, when I asked my cousin today, when I told her that we having somebody came to me and approached me about having a Trump rally, and we will have a Trump rally downtown by the shop at 1022 North 9th Street, East St. Louis, Illinois, this Saturday at 12 o'clock. And she said, good luck. I said, why? Well, and we broke it down. I said, well, I'm not no po folk. I may be in a financial bind right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a po folk because I wasn't born po folk. I wasn't born rich folk. Because that's all the mentality.
Yeah.
I tell people, poverty stays in your head, not in your pocket. And as long as these politicians want to keep you barefoot, pregnant, and naked in the kitchen, what they call is locate you, that's our problem. So when you say you walk by that house today and them signs of that front yard, I'm gonna say like I told the dude today about the Bugatti. That said I would never vote for a person with Bugatti. Maybe he asked me why I don't want a Bugatti and see if my character stands up to it. And then as you check that, go check my track record. So if you check my track record and it ain't what you think it is, because let's see what this Thomas, what the old folks used to tell me. I can hear better than I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I got that wrong. I can see better than I can hear.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I can see better than I can hear. Because that means that I hear you talking to me, but I see you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And I equate Donald Trump and Joe Biden to this. You ask them both for $5. Joe Biden stay in your face for 4 hours and keep saying, yeah, I'm gonna give you $5. Trump go in the bathroom, use the bathroom, put the $5 in the toilet, rub it around, and come give it to you. Did Trump give you the $5?
Yeah.
Did Joe Biden give you $5?
Nope.
Right.
Talking.
Right. So as long as you admit on mind clean the $5, you got $5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I tell people, if somebody unsavory giving it to you, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Right.
So when you talk about school of choice, I like those two things. I'm a big fan of school of choice because I think you'll bring in I think you'll allow the teachers to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get these wicked people out of these good teachers' ways, it'll bring in some good people managers and they let these schools thrive. Because I believe if you let these schools thrive on their own, East St. Louis will find its way back to greatness.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you keep a monopoly and you let the worst of the worst become police and teachers, we don't get what we deserve.
Right.
You don't get what you want in this world, you get what you deserve. So if you don't want to read and research who's over your street department, who's over your city manager, what form of government you in, what's your mayor name, what's your city councilman name, what's your school board member name, we got nowhere to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you got a new phone every 6 months, the problem is the person holding the phone,
Right.
not the people lying through the phone.
That's right.
Because our old guru said, if you learn yourself, you never worry about nobody telling the truth. So, school of choice is the second part of that, and the first part is clemency. I could go deeper than that with the plan because with the 500 million, and then also the further with criminal justice reform, because like right now, every day I'm monitoring foolishness happening across the country. People getting shot in broad light, daylight. People doors getting kicked in. Because when people, how about this defund the police? How about we build? I'm gonna still one for Joe Biden. Build back better. Take the police department, build back better. Because let's stop lying to ourselves. Police are for our women, children, mothers, and elders. Because if we had to sit back and defend them all day, we'd never get nothing done.
Right.
So when we say we don't need them, that's not true. But do we need a real, better version of them? Yes. And that's the conversation we need to have. But we need to have a conversation about putting on our big boy pants in the black community. And actually, riddle me this, Thomas. Name me one positive black community in the Midwest that you want to move to. I'm going to wait.
Nothing come to mind.
Right. So till we can answer that question, we got to sit back and when I tell people stop going looking for, like we had a conversation last time about the lesser of the evils. To say lesser of the evils mean you're making one good and one bad.
Right.
But if you're going to get fertilizer, you don't make one good and one bad. You want the one that's going to produce the best.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, it's all horse shit, right? So you can try to find the best horse shit. I want one to grow my flowers the best.
Right.
They say that'll take a longer time than this one. So Joe Biden gonna take you 47 years to grow your flowers. Trump's gonna grow them 4, but they might turn orange.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Well, listeners, man, you heard a little bit about the plan. You heard a little bit about what Cube got going, what Trump put into his platinum plan, and we're not necessarily here to judge it. You know, we want you all to do the research. That's what I always say. Just do the research, understand what you are opposing to or what you're not liking. Don't just hop on the bandwagon because everybody is saying cancel Q because he did something with the Trump campaign and all that type of stuff. I mean, do your research and see, because what he's got going may be a good thing for us, black people. Who knows? But if we don't do the research, we just listen to what somebody else is saying, and they may be trying to feed you their narrative and what they want you to think about it. So I just say do the research and understand what we are listening to. And, you know, we always want you all feedback. So if you're listening and looking at this on YouTube, of course, subscribe and comment below. Let me know what you all think. Let me know how you all feel about what Cube did. Let me know if you think it's a good thing, a bad thing. Just let me know. Just, you know, hit that like button too, and hit the dislike button if you don't like what we're saying. Let me know what you think, though. We need to have this conversation because the time is over for us to just be sitting around here and not paying attention and not knowing what is going on in our communities. So that's what it is. And like I said, you know what we talk about on this show. We talk about business, talk about growth, we talk about community, and of course the money game. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about all the stuff that really matters in our community because we really need to get down to business on knowing what's really going on because it's going to affect all of us in the long run. So there you go. Again, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And this is another episode about the business. I'm going to holler at you later.
Peace.